Welcome to the Church Brand Guide podcast. My name is Michael Persad. I am so glad you're joining us today. We are jumping into a topic where we're going to take a look at the branding mindset that drives our work as we work with Trinity Temple, a church in Kansas City. We've been working with them for a couple of years now to help create their initial branding package, but then also execute it over a long period of time. They are seeing tremendous growth taking place. Bishop Benjamin Stevens is the leader of that amazing church, and he's just invited me in to be their communications kind of solution, basically, for the church for the last couple of years. It's just been one of those relationships that has developed. And one of those things that I've done as I've been working with them is really done a work to produce a branding mindset. And what I mean by that is everything we do is through the lens of who we're trying to reach. So part of the branding conversation that we always have when I work with a new client is who is that target audience that we're trying to reach? And then let's just make decisions consistently over a long period of time that reaches out to them. So it's the messaging we put together. It's the design for a particular event that we might put together. It's the website. All of it is designed towards one particular persona. That's just marketing language for like a fictitious fictional, there we go, a fictional person that we're creating, but they just represent the church, the brand that we are trying to reach. Now, from a spiritual perspective, everyone is absolutely the audience. We want everyone to receive, the gospel and what we have for them. But from a branding standpoint, we just need focus, and that gives us the focus that we need to design in that direction. So Trinity is seeing a great deal of growth. They're a church that's been around for a long time. Bishop Stevens came in, and he took over for the church maybe 8 or 9 years ago. And it took a little while for him to get enough traction to then invite, me to come in and rebrand the church from what it was. He had to build enough clout with the congregation, with the leadership, to begin to make some changes with things. So we changed the logo, we changed the auditorium, the way it looks, the facilities. We put some stuff up. We changed the website. There's a lot of changes that we've done that over the years has led to the church positioning itself as a solution to the problems in the community. Ultimately, we want to help people become the hero of their story. So the single mom, we want to help them become the hero of their children. That dad that wants to figure out how to do parenting because they don't know how to do it, we want to help him become the hero of his story. We want to help the business owner become the hero of their story. We want to help that person that is just looking to make a difference in the world. We want to help them make an impact with their life. And all this happens through the church. The way we communicate it is part of our branding strategy. So with Trinity Temple, we've seen some great results. The new website has been up and in place now for about 2 years, but we are constantly making changes and updates with that. Basically, the world looks different than it used to look like. We used to do things one way, but now we're still doing the same things, but we're doing them in a different way. If you think about this just in your everyday life, we used to get a friend to take us to the airport, at 6 a.m. for that flight, but now we have this thing called Uber that we can just call and get a ride whenever we need to. We used to go to the store to buy that new gadget or whatever we saw online, or just in person, but now we do it online. We don't go in person anymore to the store. We get things brought to us with Amazon. They drop off boxes. So the churches that are growing and doing really well are churches that are adjusting. The gospel, the message is the same, but the way that they are placing that messaging out there, the way that they are presenting the church itself is constantly changing as the world is changing. And a lot of it is due to just the digital nature of our world. It's different now and it's changing all the time. So as a church, we just need to be aware of what's going on so that we can present that the church in a way that is relevant or that is in front of people in the community. we don't want to be the best kept secret in town. We want people to know about us. So again, we're working with Trinity Temple to work with this church. It's a Church of God in Christ church. So it's been around for quite a while. It's part of a denomination that's been around for quite a while. But they want to do things a little bit differently so that they can ultimately reach people that they are currently not able to reach. So we've put things up like parking lot signs and flags that go up on the weekends that say welcome or welcome home. We've put signage in the property to let people know where to check in the kids ministry, or where the restrooms are. We have taken a look at even some of the ways that we promote things. Like they used to promote a new guest to go to a room kind of in the back of the church after church for a reception. But we've changed some of that. Basically, we realize that new people that come to the church don't necessarily want to go to a hidden room in the back of the church before they have a chance to know you, to know the church a little bit. So now we're moving some of those things out to the front of the church. We're just saying, hey, right in the lobby as you exit, there's a welcome center that has a gift for you, and we've implemented some of those type of things so that this church that used to do it differently for many, many, many years, they basically saw that it wasn't working, like people weren't responding to it. But by having a branding mindset, we're able to meet people where they are. That's really what branding is all about. It's about meeting people where they are. It's about serving people and allowing them to encounter us the way that they would want to encounter us. So for people used to come to church because they were supposed to come to church. They used to be aware of what a church was, but now that's not the case. So from a branding standpoint, we're just explaining things, and we're making things a little bit easier for them to interact with the church by moving things around a little bit. So first of all, we have to get clear about who we serve. Then we have to create the right experience. So the right experience could be the website. It's the facility, like the lobby and the parking lot. It's the handouts, the promotions that we have for different events. Those are the experience that has to be in line with that person we're trying to serve in our community. So let me unpack just for a minute. The person we're trying to serve is typically they have a mindset. It's not necessarily a demographic. It might be a mindset. Like if they are if we want to serve people that are business leaders, maybe they're in the corporate world and they are leaders in business. Well, then that could be a demographic, so to speak. Not a demographic. I guess you could call it more of a mindset that we go after with our brand. So we're looking for like business leaders. So the way we produce a graphic is going to be more professional looking than if we are a church trying to reach out to, let's say, college. Maybe you're in a college town, and you're trying to reach people that are, in the university nearby. It's a completely different mindset for that age group or that type of person that's in that time of life than it is for a professional that might have a family with young children at home. So for Trinity, we are targeting the professionals. We are targeting the business professionals that have families, with young kids, 18 and under. And so we're building a brand out for that demographic. It doesn't mean that we are trying to say no to anybody. We aren't doing anything that would be turning anybody away. We're just shaping our messaging, our colors, our fonts, the way we promote things towards that audience. It gives us a lot of exposure, and people understand us more quickly because we're in the right places with our messaging. The next thing we have to do, so first you have to get clear. The next thing is to create the right experience. And then number 3, we have to attract new people. So we wanted to create in Trinity a DNA of expecting new people. So that's why we put up the signs all over the building. So we're expecting new people. We're expecting them not to know where the restrooms are. We're expecting them to need to know where to check their kids in. We're expecting them to almost drive by the property. So we have these big flags that are 12 feet tall that we put out on Sunday mornings that flop in the wind, and it draws attention. The bright red flags are just out there, probably 6 of them by the entrance. So it's a nice presence as people are driving by, so they know where the church is. And then as they come onto the property, we have these A-frame signs that are guiding them into like the parking area and then all the way up to the front doors as they walk in. It has like arrows that guide them, but it also has like messaging like, we're glad you're here. So those type of things are helpful to expect new people to come to the church. People in the lobby are trained, the volunteers that are there as greeters are trained to expect new people. So make sure that we act like there's somebody new coming to our church versus acting like, you've been there and done that in the past. We created a welcome center in the lobby area where they have ways for people to come and get a free gift. Also to like give their information, basic information, so that there can be follow-up done. Also, if the Welcome Center is a great place if you have kids and you don't know where to go or what to do, they can answer any questions you might have regarding kids or anything else really in the church. So a Welcome Center was something brand new that we implemented, along with signage on the property that allows for people to know the DNA of the church. So that's something that we implemented as well throughout the property. It's not just about navigation, that is a big part of it, but also what is our DNA? Like what are some statements that people just need to know as they come into our church? So branding is about being intentional. It's about creating intentional environments, both online and offline, to create a church that's attractive. And it's that intentionality is it's focused. It's focused towards that person that we know needs what we have. And when we do that, when we're intentional like that, we create a church that not only attracts them, but is sticky, like they want to be a part of it. And over again, we get to see great results. At Trinity, we're seeing the church rally around this new branding, this new DNA. In fact, there's a tagline that we implemented for the church that says, "We love people to life." So that was something that the pastor, he says all the time. So we just created a tagline, kind of a rallying cry around this new branding that we established with Trinity Temple. And it's become something that people just get excited about. It's great. A brand creates consistency that's attractive. So people want to trust you. And when we have consistency, it builds trust. If you're thinking about branding, thinking about rebranding your church, again, these are some of the expectations you can have when you go through a process of branding. Not just designing a new logo, but hey, let's really walk this through and create a strategy behind the designs that is in line with an audience that we're trying to reach. What happens too is that you resonate with multiple generations. So we're targeting a mindset. We're not necessarily targeting an age group. We're targeting somebody that thinks a certain way. So business professionals or families, like people, another one would be like parents with children that are 18 and under. Like what's the mindset of that person? Another one could be college age. We talked about that. Maybe you're in a college town, university town. So maybe that young adult age group is something you can target that mindset. You can also target a mindset of people that want to make a difference, like they want to make an impact in the world. You might target a mindset of people that need to discover their purpose. So they're looking to grow and develop into a purpose for their life. So that could be a mindset that you go after, like people that are lacking purpose in life. So a lot of different options that we can look at, but it resonates with, when you do that, it resonates with multiple generations. A lot of times I work with churches that are concerned that if they rebrand, they won't be able to connect with the older people and the younger people that are in the community. But if we target a mindset, then it's okay. Like we can connect with older people that want to make a difference and younger people that want to make a difference. And it works really well. When we rebrand, we also see a great culture being formed around this DNA that we are being clear to define. So part of the branding process is that I meet with the team, we define the brand, we get clarity about that, and then we create the right experiences to create a nice culture in the church. A culture that values new guests. It also values the members, and it helps people know what their next steps are. So ultimately, a new brand will unlock the next level of growth for your church. We've seen this happen over and over again, and that could mean numbers, like more people coming. It also could mean more people taking next steps within the church, like discipleship, going into their next steps and taking action. So again, we've seen this happen with Trinity Temple as we've implemented a lot of these things. Trinity's a little bit different in that I've just been around them for at least 2 years now. Again, just started off with them just kind of hiring me to come in and do what I do. I normally come in and I'm a consultant that helps to create that new branding. I kind of ask the right questions and put together a game plan and then execute that game plan by producing websites and logos and collateral materials, connect cards and offering envelopes and those type of things for the church to get the brand up and running and launched the right way. The website's just right for the church. The social media is all branded and we have a great strategy in place for that. And then I have one of my packages where I can stay for a while, stay for a year, almost like a staff member. And myself, my team, we just kind of work to produce everything for the church for that 1 year period as a staff member. And the goal for the 1 year is just to be able to hand it off. It's not that I want to build a dependency on me or my team. It's more to like train and hand this off at some point. So Trinity's been a little bit different because they've kind of hung on a little bit longer, and because there's a need for that, I've been happy to stay on longer to help Trinity and Bishop Stevens really establish this brand. And at some point, we are going to be able to hand this over to some people that are developing even now inside the church to be able to do what we are doing as we work with them. So one of the things I do is I design a lot in Canva. In fact, in the show notes on this episode, you can go to it, and I'm going to post their examples of promotions that we have done with Trinity that's on point with the branding. So you'll see a lot of the branding in the show notes. I'll have the logo, the old logo, the new logo, and that's kind of fun to watch how that's the difference between the two. We'll have the website layout. I'll show you some mock-ups of like the branding and what it looks like. But then also I'll put in there some examples of some of the promotions that we've done over the months as we've worked with them. So you can see what that starts to look like as you create a brand and increase that footprint of the brand. So you establish the brand, then as you keep going, you increase the footprint of that brand. So hopefully this is a great example of the branding mindset. Like I just want to share Trinity's story and talk about a branding mindset where you're just thinking more holistically, you're being more intentional. You have this persona, this target audience that you're building towards, and then you're realizing that you need to make adjustments. The world is changing all the time, so there's needs for adjustments to be made all the time. Again, with Trinity, we're constantly changing the website. Like it's evolving all the time so that new things are highlighted and things that once were highlighted are not highlighted. And we're changing the language on things, and we have a strategy. And I've talked about this in the past, but there's 5 parts to the strategy. Number 1 is how to get strangers to become first-time guests. Number 2, how do we get first-time guests to become an attender? Basically, that means they've come back for their second visit. And then number 3, how do we get an attender to come and become a member of the church, to join the church? So we need to have mechanisms for these things to take place. And then the final one is to help members become champions. Champions are people that are leading, they're giving, they're volunteering. They love their church, they invite people to their church. And we need to have a mechanism in place to make those things happen, to guide people on that journey, that 5-step journey to help them just love their church, be part of the church. And it starts by initiating them to come to the church and then walking them through those next steps. So in case you didn't know, I serve churches to help build out brands. I come in as a consultant. One of the first things I do is I want to create a report. If you're interested in having me work with your church, I'd love to hear from you. Just go to churchbrandguide.com. Click on the area to book a time so I can schedule a call with you. We can get to know each other, and I'd love to share with you answers to any questions you might have. You'll learn about the process that I take you through to create your brand, and from there we can figure out if there's a package that works well for you. Again, some packages are bigger, some are smaller, depending on where you are and what your needs are. I just got back from Atlanta, working with a church up in Atlanta, and going on location in one of the packages that I have, doing photography, video, and just consulting on location. So we have something as big and involved as that, and on the other side, we can do everything just through Zoom calls. So let's just discover where you are, and ultimately, I want to help you not become or not be the best kept secret in town, but to help you create a playbook so that you are able to cut through the noise and reach the people in your community. I'd love to have a chat with you, and hopefully this episode helps you to understand the branding mindset. Hopefully this podcast is a great introduction to the branding mindset that I believe churches need. They need to think about their church from a communications perspective. Of course, the gospel is the most important thing, and God can draw people as he wants to. But in more of a practical sense, like how do we think about our church on a practical sense of like how do we communicate ourselves to our community so they understand their need for what we have. Again, that's a huge shift that I get to see churches make all the time as I get to work with them, and it's a beautiful thing to watch, a beautiful thing to see as churches are able to communicate towards the needs of their community and see those new people coming on a regular basis to be a part of the church. Thanks again for joining me on this episode of the Church Brand Guide podcast. My name is Michael. Please leave a review and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. That allows us so that other people are able to find this channel and find this content. And I will see you on the next episode.